unlocked that door with the hope of romance. Oh, the return of excitement, the renewal of life as you knew it. Oh, but behind that door, changes have happened. You might find stress or maybe concern. You have crossed over into the reunion zone.
Huh?
It might be hard to believe, but many military families find reunions are even more stressful than the work-related separation, or deployment, as we're going to call it. It doesn't matter whether you're a couple with children, the parent of a single military member, or married with no kids. Reuniting can be harder than you think because you're coming back together, having had experiences that may have changed you. Resuming life together may offer challenges and opportunities. And with preparation, communication, and some great tips, reunions can be less tricky and even fun. In the emotional cycle of deployment and reunion, this video will focus on the reunion. The cycle is a transition process based on common reactions that those around the military member experience. Mothers, partners, children, friends, we're talking to you in this video, keeping in mind that the intensity can vary depending on your proximity to the Canadian Forces member. Reunion stress can be experienced by everyone involved because the stability and balance of your life has been disrupted and will need to be regained. We'll meet some military families, hear their stories, and have a little fun. First, here are a few things to remember that may help you throughout the entire reunion process. Everyone communicates differently, so try to always practice active listening, being open to what the other person has to say. Try not to think about how you're going to defend yourself or what you're going to say next in a discussion. One way to do that is to repeat what the other person just said. Another method is to use I statements. I feel upset rather than you make me so mad, so the other person doesn't feel like they're being attacked. Communication is about sharing your own experience, feelings, and thoughts with each other, so you have a better understanding. If you hit a communication breakdown, try something as simple as putting yourself in the other person's shoes, or ask them to help you understand how they're feeling. And remember, this emotional cycle applies to both short-term and long-term deployments. You don't skip stages if the military member was only gone 8 weeks. You'll go through each stage, just at a different pace. All right, let's get going. Hi, kids!
Hi, Mom.
Hi. How was school?
Great, Mom. We learned so much.
Oh, wonderful. Now get upstairs and get ready for Dad's first night home.
Honey.
Oh, hello. They're beautiful. Thank you. Is that how it happened? Or was it more like this? Hi, kids.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, hon.
Stage 1 of the reunion cycle is the anticipation of homecoming. You've changed, they've changed, routines have changed. There's a lot of change. He can't wait to run his fingers through your long hair, and you can't wait to get him to see your new short do. You're longing to be swept off your feet with a romantic night out, and he's longing for a home-cooked meal and turning in early. It can be a lot to handle.
When I go away, I'm going off into something completely different. And I can separate that from my home and go, that's home. But when I come back to my home, I expect it to be the same as I left, notwithstanding the fact that for the last 6 months, I haven't been there. And so the family has adapted to me not being there. And so I gather that's a little difficult to deal with as I come in and expect everything to be as per normal, when in fact, normal for them is different than what I remembered.
One of the things that helped was that we planned what the reunion was going to be like. And one of the things we did, because our little guy's in senior kindergarten and our oldest is in grade 2, half days and full days, I booked a hotel room so that we'd have time to connect before he got inundated by the kids. And then the next day, he picked Chaz up from school at 11 and then spent the afternoon with him. And then I took Chaz and he picked up Will from school at 3 and spent some time with him. So each of us got individual time with Matt when he got home.
It's good for me knowing that there was a bit of a schedule, or knowing what to expect when I got home. So it was nice to know, okay, we'll have a nice easing into life back in Canada for a night, and then get back into being part of the family, the greater family. So I thought that was really good personally.
As much as I would have liked to surprise him, I also know that sometimes the whole newness of everything is too much, and I wanted to be sure that he was okay with it. So yeah, we talked about it a little bit, not in great detail, and it was pretty open and flexible, very general plans, max flex.
Yeah, I had a lot of unpleasant surprises over there, so it's kind of good to not, for me personally, to not have any surprises. Yes, we're going away for a week. What? That kind of thing. So it worked out very well.
He came home early, and he just showed up the night before he was supposed to come home, just at the door. And I just wasn't prepared. I didn't have
That wasn't exactly the look I was expecting when I showed up in the door.
What? You're home?
Oh.
I was going to bring the kids to the airport. We were going to have a greeting, and you weren't, now there's nothing. They're just, poof, you're here.
The first thing I do for him coming home, as soon as he tells me the date he's coming home, I add a week. So if he tells me he's going to be home on the 20th of March, I mentally prepare and I tell the kids he's not back till the 30th of March. Because guaranteed the military will change it on you. Interesting though, when he came home from Kandahar this time, I thought, it's great. He got home on a Sunday, so I thought, I'll be at work on the Monday, the kids will be at school on Monday, he'll have an opportunity to kind of get back into the house. And by the time 9:30 came around, he phoned me and said, it's way too quiet here. Can I come to work, or can I come see you? So it had kind of the reverse effect this time. So you kind of have to be prepared for, their emotions are going to be far different than you might think that they're going to be. So.
What else might change? Your energy levels, your activity levels, your sleep, appetite, even concentration. You might feel excited, anxious, apprehensive, or start building up that reunion fantasy in your head. Let's look at some of the ways to start this reunion off on the right foot, well before that foot is on home soil. First, keep in mind that if you don't communicate your expectations, they're not going to be met. That applies to everyone involved, at home and deployed. Talk about what you might expect and what you hope for regarding the reunion, especially who should be included. Building a fantasy reunion can only lead to disappointment if it's not clearly communicated between you and the CF member. Some reunions might include extended as well as immediate family. Others could be just friends, just a partner, or your spouse and children only. Try to think about what will be fair for everyone involved. Avoid scheduling too many homecoming activities because reunions are demanding, both physically and emotionally. Rely on official information only concerning the reunion, not rumors. Also, try to participate in reunion workshops or activities offered by the unit or the MFRC. You may meet some folks who've got some great tips from their own reunion experiences. Make sure that you reassure your partner of your love and commitment. Everyone will probably be pretty anxious about changes, so be sure that you share your feelings of apprehension as well as excitement. If you're the returning military member, tell your family how much you appreciated their love and encouragement during the deployment. I missed you.
I missed you so much.
I bet you've been dreaming about this moment for months. Finally, together, alone. But did the fantasy match the reality? Oh, are you getting a cold? Are you okay?
Hello?
Hello?
Anybody home?
Are those your parents?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Did they bring the neighbors?
Hi.
Good. Hi. Hi. Come on in. Toast. Stage 2 of the reunion cycle is the renewal of relationships. While this can be a really happy time, there could also be difficulties. You've got a new system to track the bills, and they're still using the old one. You're looking to jumpstart the love life, and he's looking for who stole the covers. It's a balancing act, for sure.
Generally, we're very good at communicating back and forth what's going on in our heads. And so we had her leave in the middle of the tour, each LTA, and sort of got through the rough parts during that, learned a few good things. And so what we're doing now is I'll just be quiet and I'll let her make all the decisions for a month or so, and then I'll sort of help step in when and where I can see it's needed. But that's, she's been running the house for 6 months, so I'll just sort of be quiet.
If I'm busy doing something and he's sitting on the couch resting, the kids will never go to him and ask him. Now, that might just be marriage in general, but they're so used to coming to me and talking to me. I need this, I need that. Can you help me with my homework? And I say, you know what? There's somebody right over there you can talk to.
They never really actually say it that way, though.
No, I wait till I blow up and then let it go.
It's a bit of a screech, but go ask your father. So they
Yeah.
still go to her most of the, as does the dog and the cat.
Yeah, my entourage. However, but you know what else is important is that you're so used to doing everything, making all the lunches, doing all the chores, you just go and do it, and then finally, what's he doing over there? And then you get frustrated and you yell at him or blow up or something, and maybe if we had just sort of calmly discussed it, it would be a better thing, but you're just so used to doing it all.
There's certainly moments where you're like, okay, you're in my house. Why are you in my house? Can you leave now? Because you're so used to being on your own and things are, if you put that pair of scissors back where they belong, I should be able to go back to the same spot and pick up those scissors. Why aren't they there? And differently, having another adult in the house where someone else is giving the kids directions now and they come to you and you're like, well, who told you were allowed to do that? Or, we're just about to have supper. Why are you eating a brownie type of thing? By the time he came back, I was sort of into doing a whole lot of things on my own, and I had a whole new circle of friends that he hadn't met before because, I joined a different soccer team and I, started doing scrapbooking things and things like that. So it was a little more stretch because now I'm hanging out with people he's never met before and doesn't know, and it was sort of a singles type of activity. It wasn't a couples type of activity. So that was definitely more difficult.
I don't know, I just found it really, suddenly he was in my way all the time. We didn't have a very big house and there was this laundry and the dishes were everywhere. Not that I'm tidy in general, but it was just more mess, more people waiting and a lot more yelling because he would tell people what he wanted and we already knew what we wanted.
So they're back. And now that you're sharing the car again, changing schedules and losing that independent lifestyle, it could be upsetting. For couples, you may have trouble reestablishing both physical and emotional intimacy. Maybe you're feeling excited or frustrated, relieved, disappointed. It can be a lot. So how can you cope? Well, like most things in life, communication is the key. Talk openly, honestly, and as gently as possible. It's important to accept your feelings as normal and not as a threat to your relationship. You've all achieved things that you're proud of during the separation. It's important to recognize and affirm that for each other. Be open and ready to discuss family roles and responsibilities. The CF member could treat the first few weeks at home like a job shadowing situation. You continue your routines and they can ease their way back into it once they've seen it in action. If this is a first-time deployment for the CF member, they can experience significant changes, including physical, psychological, emotional, and even spiritual ones. So you may need to show more patience and open-mindedness to accept and incorporate these changes. Talk about how you're going to maintain friendships or activities that you started during the deployment. Don't be surprised if you feel a little envious of their travels and their break from the day-to-day stuff. Keep in mind that they're returning not only to a change of routine, but change of surroundings and culture as well. It's a reconnection with their family and friends, as well as their environment and community. Identifying your needs is important for everyone involved. That means being able to express what's most important to you during this process. If you have a communication breakdown, think about going to a neutral location for a talk. The returning military member might feel like it's not their home yet, it's your house. Going to a park or a coffee shop could make it easier to talk more openly. Perhaps one of the most important things you can do is take it slow. Let everyone go at their own pace. Each person has changed during this separation, so take your time adjusting. Couples, communicating your feelings with I statements can help you build up that emotional intimacy again. It's important to take time to become reacquainted. You may need time to reconnect emotionally before resuming sexual intimacy. It's no comment on your love for each other if you're not on the same schedule. There may be some awkwardness or tension between you, which is normal since you've been apart for a period of time. It's important to reassure and respect each other. Maybe you need to get reacquainted by having a few date nights. Have fun together. Military members, participate in your unit post-deployment and/or reunion briefings. Families, check with your local military family resource center for reunion activities or resource material you can use. For everyone, if you're feeling concerned or overwhelmed, don't hesitate to seek professional help from a counselor, your doctor, or a psychologist. Your MFRC can guide you through this. Right foot green. Isn't it lovely when things start to get back to normal? Left foot blue.
Quit touching me. I'm not touching you. Yes, you are. You're not even on your dog.
Back to normal?
Yeah, we're back to normal.
Yeah. Okay. All right, okay. Wait, you two. Everyone is different. Most of you can start to feel comfortable again after a while. Sometimes the length of reunion stress is shorter, sometimes longer.
I think initially I was maybe trying to push a little bit too hard in terms of getting him to open up about things. After this one, he wasn't quite the same personality as previous times. He was a lot quieter and he didn't really want to talk too much about it. I think, the tour was different.
I'm sure it's going to be challenging because I have a hard time not stepping in and making decisions all the time because it's sort of military conditions us to do that. But so one day at a time. I've only been back for 48 hours, so hopefully after I get used to the time zone changes and everything, and it'll go smoothly. But
Yeah, but already you've changed too. And there are times when I get frustrated and he says, I've got all the patience for this. So it's wonderful that I don't have to just give myself a timeout. I can just tag team and he picks up where I left off, but with that much more patience. Don't be critical, be gentle with each other, because there's more stress. Now is the time for more patience. That made the biggest difference at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end.
The little bits and pieces. I mean, remembering, thinking back on it all brings me such wonderful.
That's true. Although it was hard, there were hard bits. It's true that there are things that the things I remember are not the hard bits. The things I remember are the things that we would say and do so that when we did get back together, we could be stronger people. Because separation, what did they say? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And it does, because we let ourselves do that. We wallowed in the, you're away, but I love you very much and you'll be home someday. That anticipation's also good. It's not just the anticipation that they're leaving, it's the anticipation that they're actually going to come home. You know, it's exciting. Yeah. Wasn't all bad. Oh, maybe we're just getting old and we don't remember.
This is where your transition has come to an end. You've established a new routine that feels comfortable and natural. If you're a couple, you're secure, sharing physical and emotional intimacy together. Issues and challenges that you may have had in the earlier stages have resolved themselves, and you're feeling confident that your relationships are okay. You've rebounced after a disruption. Now, if you've had a major disruption during the deployment, like a move or a death in the family, things might be intensified. If there has been problems in your relationship before the deployment, this can also lengthen the stress period. Sometimes when couples are having problems, they think all they need to do is be apart for a few months and the separation will save their marriage. But it doesn't work that way. It's a sure thing that those same problems will still be there when the deployment's over. So if things haven't settled down within a couple of months, you may need some extra support to deal with this. Don't hesitate to ask for help. Okay. Dinner. It feels great once you've made it through and everyone is into the new routine. There you go, buddy. We're all into the new routine. All good. You can go. Want juice? Yeah.
Pass me a drink.
You can go. Did you need me to get the door? So, we've seen how everyone may experience the reunion of a military member differently. For children, their reaction tends to vary depending on their age and the stage of development. Other factors include what the parent-child relationship was like before the deployment and how connected they were during it. As the reunion gets closer, children may experience confusing feelings like worry and anger, as well as excitement and happiness and relief. They can feel very proud of their accomplishments, like how they managed during the deployment and helped out at home. They could be feeling self-conscious and wonder how to reconnect. They can also be excited and tearful after so much build-up to the big event. Here are some general tips. First, Help your children express their feelings. Maybe you can draw pictures, write stories, make up songs, even play act. Being attentive and listening to your children is essential to a successful reunion. As we talked about earlier, make sure to include them in the planning for the reunion. For the at-home parent, letting go and allowing your partner to co-parent again and fly solo with the kids is significant. One of the most important things to keep in mind, no matter what the age of the child, is to let them take the lead. They can be feeling just as nervous and excited and awkward as you are. You, the military member, have to get used to the busy, noisy pace of kids again, and they've got to get used to you again. So give them a sense of control by letting them set the pace in your reunion. Let's look at some more specific age-related issues. Reunions with infants may include a lot of crying. The infant might not recognize you or may tend to cling to the at-home parent. They can also have changes in their eating and sleeping schedules. Talk to your partner about sharing the duties like bathing and feeding. Try playing with your baby while the at-home parent holds them. Above all, try to relax. Infants can feel your stress or anxiety. Some common responses you may get from toddlers are shyness, pulling away, or a strong no. They can be clingy, afraid that you'll leave again, and even regress a bit in their behavior and language. Be patient and gentle. Try to accept their attention and affection rather than demand it from them. Get down and play at their level. Common reactions from the preschool age group can include overexcitement at the return and anger or sadness that the parent was away. They might try to get attention or test the limits. Again, letting them set the pace by listening to their feelings and accepting them. Taking an interest in what they're doing, playing a game, reading a book. Always reinforce that you love them no matter what. As children get older, their reactions change. At this age, they may be concerned about how parents will view what they did or didn't do while the military member was away. They could also be proud of all the things they accomplished and talk to you non-stop about it. Taking an interest and praising them for the accomplishments during the deployment is a great way to start. Take some one-on-one time to look at the school projects they finished or pictures of events you missed. As always, listening to them, acknowledging how they feel, and asking for their opinion will help you reconnect. Some common reactions for teens include focusing on their friends. They may seem to have mixed feelings about the reunion because it just means more changes. Perhaps feeling unsure about whether they lived up to your expectations while you were gone. Again, listening to them talk about activities and interests in a non-judgmental way is great. So is talking about your deployment experience and what they did while you were away. Being respectful of their privacy and their time with friends helps as well.
Everybody's got different tips on, how to do things. Just sort of suck in all of the tips and don't action anything until you kind of really look at your family and say, whether you think it'll work or not. And for the other side, if you're the person giving tips, try and give them in a kind of non-judgmental way and say, this has worked for us, maybe it would work for you.
And having a cadre of babysitters, like 5, really, that you could call on a moment's notice, because one cancels and it's like, no, call the next one, call the next one, call the next one, was fantastic.
Certainly a lot of the bases have community support, and they put on special events specifically for families and spouses of deployed members, and take advantage of it, because it'll be, sitting down for the free barbecue that you run into someone who's, might be your neighbor 10 houses down who you haven't met yet, and they end up being a good resource for you. And it's always nice to be able to complain to someone who's in the same boat, basically.